Howdy internet land, Countrymarro here again. It's another update video on the garden. I'll be just taking you guys through, giving you guys a little heads up on what's coming next for this garden, and also moving you around to my pepper patch and informing you guys on how I'm going to go about amending my soil this time around. I went ahead and I did the walkways. I put down some medium mulch. If you're going with mulch, try not to put mulch in your beds, especially for the beds that you will be having or you will be putting root crops in. Avoid putting mulch because it will compete with your plants for nitrogen. Here in the walkway, in the pathway area, yes, it can also compete for nitrogen because these are in-ground bed. However, I have a lot of compost in these beds, and roots tend normally to go down from these small crops and not spread all the way out. So it's like going down maybe 4 to 6 inches and then a circumference of maybe another 4 inches. So it's not a much for your vegetable type crops that you'll be planting in your garden. In this bed here, I started going in with some rabbit manure. If you don't have a rabbit manure, if you're this early in your season preparing for fall, you can go ahead with chicken manure, horse manure, cow manure, whichever manure of your choice you can go ahead with now. Even with the chicken manure, we know it's cliche, hot manure, burn your plants. However, if you're going in this early, you can go ahead and put down your chicken manure in your beds, and by the time you're ready to start planting in another 2.5 months to 3 months time, it will be all good. It won't burn your plants. If you're going to do both raised bed and in-ground bed, plant care is going to be a bit different. Raised beds are similar to container gardening, so you will have to go in more often with fertilizer. Whichever fertilizer you plan on using, you will have to fertilize way more often with your raised bed than your container garden. And let me just clear up something re container garden. If you're planting in plastic containers, those will hold the nutrient in a bit more than if you're using the fabric. The fabric, you tend to lose a whole lot more from the fabric, but everything has their advantages and disadvantages. For the fabric, it gives you a more proper drainage system, so you hardly can ever overwater your plants in a fabric container. You may overwater them in a plastic container or even a terracotta container. The raised beds, I would recommend, if you're going with your fertilizer, you're a new gardener and you're going to start fertilizing, I would recommend you try to fertilize at least once a month. Some may say every 14 days, but I think once a month is good if you're going in with a proper fertilizer, something like a 10-10-10, or here in the US they have a fertilizer by the name of milorganite, which is very, very good. The smell is very potent, but the fertilizer, it works. You also have another one, I'm not sure how many states this one is in, but it's called Sunnyland fertilizer. For those fertilizers, those are slow release fertilizers also, so you can go in once a month with them and use them. they will work wonders for your plants also. Another thing that new gardeners tend to go for, and this one I have nothing against it, but if you're going to use something, you have to understand it. You don't have to totally understand it, but you have to have some form of knowledge of using these products. And that is blood meal and bone meal. I am not against them, but let's cut the chase. For blood meal and bone meal, they are excellent fertilizers and soil amendment. However, if you're going to use them, it would be best if you get a soil test. One of the main things is bone meal. It is effective in acidic soil with a pH below 7, I think. But in alkaline soil, plants may struggle for phosphorus. And some studies show also it may struggle for nitrogen if the soil becomes bind with the bone meal. So it is really a tricky one for gardeners, moreover if you overuse these products. So they're a very tapered and should be measured product. So for the new gardener, I would tell you to stay away from it a bit until you understand more about using these products, because they can be technical. Your regular fertilizer is much simpler for you to use. Another thing, I'm in Central Florida, where this time of the year, in late May going into early June, it's kind of hard to plant most crops now if you want space again to plant for fall. So if I should go in with cover crops in these beds, like potatoes, sweet potato that is, if I should go in with sweet potatoes, corn it's too late now, but just say I go in with sweet potatoes and pumpkin, they won't be ready to harvest by the time I'm ready to start using up these beds for my fall garden. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just keep these beds as is, start amending them, as I said, putting in rabbit manure. Maybe I can go ahead now also and clean my chicken run and coop and put in some of those manure, allow them to integrate into the soil, so I would have them to use for the fall time whenever I'm about to plant. If you have weeds coming up in your garden bed at this time, when you don't have anything to plant in these hot months, nothing is wrong with that. The good thing about it, and I have a cousin, he passed away years ago. He was an older person than I was. He was like a second or third cousin. And whenever he hit something, he would say, "Let me learn you something." So let me learn you guys something today. If you have your bed and you have nothing planted in it at the present moment and weeds are coming up, don't be disheartened. Allow those weeds to sprout, because that is just more weed seed you're getting rid of. So allow them to sprout, grow a bit, but not to the point where they are going to reseed for you to get more weed in your bed. So as long as you allow them to grow and you get rid of those weeds, that's a set of seed in your seed bank that you wanted to get rid of, that you're going to get rid of now. So allow the weeds to come up. Don't suppress them too much in your bed area. Allow them to come up when you're not planting. Then you get rid of the plant, and that will end up with you having less weed in your grow season. I'll be mixed planting in these beds, or companion planting in these beds. So let me just give you an example. The beds that that people would normally put, say, lettuces or lettuce in. I'm going to be putting lettuce with green onion and also thyme. The green onion and the thyme will help to keep away pests. If I have this bed over here and I have cabbages in it, I'm not just going to have cabbage alone in it. I'm going to put something else like maybe onions, because we can plant onion the same time. I'm going to have those weaved through these beds. So I'm going for the same type of farming that I was doing, the in-ground farming with everything in a companionship that I was doing before I went about these beds. I'm going to continue the same way. It's just that it's going to be a bit different because it's going to be more organized so you guys can watch and follow. Weed is any plant or group of plant growing somewhere that you don't want it to be. So if I have a cabbage bed right here and I have carrots growing in it and I didn't want them there, they become weed in this bed. So be careful of what we're calling weed. Sometimes some native plants just pops up that we may not eat, but they keep pests away. So it's not everything you're going to pull from your garden. Sometimes you get some plants in your garden, pick a leaf from it, rub it, smell it. If it has a bad odor, sometimes that's a plant to keep in the garden because it will ward off a whole lot of insects. So nature helps us a lot of time, but we just don't take that help from nature. So look out for those weeds that are coming up in your garden. Smell a few of them, watch them, look if they seed a lot. If it's something that is going to seed a whole lot and cause problem in your garden, then you can get rid of it. But if it's not a plant that seed a lot and you can control it and it will help to keep the pest away, use it. It's natural. I moved these peppers on Friday, I think it was, when I was cleaning up over there. And these were mature peppers that had started bearing, a few of them. So it's going to take a while for them to bounce back. Some may lose a few, but it's going to take a little while for them to look vibrant again. But they're going here. The bell peppers are the ones that are struggling most, the Scotch bonnet peppers. They are looking lively. So I just want to continue watching these peppers, and these are in just topsoil. A few of these containers I've gone through and put rabbit manure in, but not all. So most of these are just in topsoil, struggling to get there. So I'll take my time with them as I go along and see how best I can get them to revive. So now that your garden is all set and ready to go for the fall, start thinking about things that you like to eat, things that are expensive in the stores that you like, because some of the time things that you like to eat are also very inexpensive. So you could plant the more expensive things, and if you don't have enough space, and you can go to the store and get whatever else you want. But just start thinking of the things that you like. Start looking at varieties. So these are the things that you like, but look at the variety. Look at what grows best in your area. Look for those and start gathering your seeds from now. Don't wait until it's the fall rush where you're trying to get seeds online or wherever and you just can't get any seed because all the late birds that didn't catch the worm is fighting for that one worm now. Go ahead, be early and get those things in. I was here a few weeks ago complaining and crying to the internet that I wasn't getting any rain. Well, now I'm getting rain almost every day. this is what happened. One of my watermelon was overwatered and it split, burst. So this one can't be eaten. So I think the chickens will have this one. Well, this part look good. Let me just give it a taste. And it's kind of alright. I think I'm gonna cut off a piece of this, and the part that was exposed, I can give it to the chickens. I won't be needing to save any of these seeds because I have a lot of these seeds. These were melons that I planted last year and just went back in with the same set of seed for this season. I went ahead and I cut the bad parts off, and now I'm going to give this to the chicken. But I got four good slices, and that's for the family. So everyone will get to taste the first melon of the season. Even though we have more around there, I think we need to taste the first melon of the season, not the chickens. Now I'm starting to get cucumbers. I have a whole lot of cucumbers on this plant here. And it's very hot, so the plants are very stressed. Also, I realize, here's another big one. Also, I realize that because I don't have a whole lot of plants in the backyard anymore, now is the time that insects are starting to get in on these few plants that I have. So there's something about growing your plants together, keeping them thick and mixing them. Peppers are some of the plants that I don't think you necessarily have to mix them, because peppers have little to no fungal or insect problem, especially the hot peppers. You won't have a lot of problem with your hot peppers. Over the holiday weekend, I stopped by a friend and I got some sugarcane. These are the red striped sugarcane, not the red stripe. The red one with the stripes. I got them. They're pretty much soft, so I plant them around the fence line, the perimeter of the yard. But I really want to touch on bananas for a little. When you're planting your bananas, plant them 8 to 10 feet apart. Don't plant them in a cluster. They will become a cluster whenever the mother plant grows and become mature. It will send out suckers, and it's like a rhizome system, so it will send out suckers all around and you will get that cluster that you see. From that cluster you have to decluster it, then take out the suckers and plant them elsewhere, or else you won't get a good production when you have your bananas growing in those clusters. So look at banana farms around the world. Look at banana farms in Jamaica, St. Mary, Jamaica. And if you notice, or if you're looking well, the bananas are about 10 to 15 feet apart. And yes, a sucker or two may come out of the ground, but when those come out, they don't allow 5 and 6 suckers to come from that one plant and come all up in a cluster and start bearing again. They remove those and take them elsewhere to plant them. So don't start your banana plants in clusters 10 feet apart. when you get the suckers, you remove them. You can always leave one to replace that banana plant, because after the banana plant bears, that's it for the plant. You just get rid of that plant because it can't bear twice. Banana only give you one harvest and that's it. Another one that a lot of gardeners will be going for this fall is Irish. We spoke about sweet potatoes. Now it's Irish potato. Irish doesn't take a lot. You can put straws in one of these fabric containers and you can put your Irish in it and water it and you will get tons of Irish. The problem that most gardeners have with Irish, they continue to overfeed their Irish. If you overfeed your Irish, what you're gonna get is a lot of leaf growth and not a lot of root, not a lot of food. Same thing for the sweet potato. They don't need a lot of nitrogen. They don't need a lot of potassium. They don't need a lot of phosphorus. They just need regular soil to grow in. That's all these plants need. The more nitrogen you give them, the more leafier the upper part of the plants, unless you're growing the sweet potatoes for the leaf, to eat the leaf because the leaf is edible. But with your Irish potatoes, just put them into some soil or some mulch, straw, whatever you have. Put them in the grow bag or your container that you're going to grow them in and water them. Keep them watered. Don't keep them wet, they'll rot, but just water them as they go along. I know that a lot of viewers and subscribers are also here to see the birds, so these are a few new ones that we got, some exotic colors. These are the parakeets. Here goes the noisy neighbors over here again for the bird lovers like myself. And we have a few baby in the box. Look if I can show you guys. So if you're raising parakeet, you know that they have a tendency to waste the feed. What I did was I just cut one of these jugs, got a hole in it like that, put the feed down in it so that they have to go down and eat it, and now I'm getting less spillage, so they're eating more feed and less waste. So this is another way you guys can try to sort out your feeding problem. I post a video every Tuesday and Thursday, so that's twice a week. So I'm giving you guys just enough, but not too much content. So look out for me every Tuesday and Thursday, as I'll come with more gardening tips and educational videos for you guys. I just went through the new garden and a bit of planning for the fall season. Start preparing from now. Prior planning and preparation prevent piss poor performance. So try to get there. Don't wait until the day when you're going to put your plant in ground or sow that seed. That's when you start to amend your soil. Start doing it from now if you have the time, and it will make your garden season much more fun and easier. That's it from Countrymarro. God bless you all. See you in the next one. Cheers. Stay safe.